2 races to go before it's playoff season, and we'll kick off the first of the 2 here at the home, or at least was once the home of the NASCAR Championship. Welcome to Avondale, and welcome to the Phoenix Raceway and race number 14 of the High Tide Racing League Guardian Premier Series. My name is Will Rempel alongside Austin Edstrom, bringing you all of racing action from start to finish with this 150-lapper here tonight. Austin, a tight points battle along with some new faces joining us tonight and some returning ones as well. A packed 37-car grid should mean plenty of action in store for us this afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet, especially whenever we've got that dog leg down the front straightaway that people are going to be cutting all night long, trying to make moves, trying to make passes. Really tough to set up a pass here at the Phoenix Raceway. Looking forward to seeing who can do it best throughout the course of the entire night and bring this checkered flag home.
Well, we'll take a look at the official point standings entering this one here this afternoon. Now, of course, when you factor in win and you're in, the drivers locked in are Jaden Hoff, Dalton Kilroy, Aaron Smith, Christopher Bassinger, Michael Thorpe Jr. The 2 critical ones, Nick Nickerson and Dustin Ping, 2 drivers that are outside of the top 12. When you factor those 2 in, the battle comes down to the cut line between right now 10th and 11th between Scott Shire and Matt Crockett. A difference right now of 21. So Shire looking pretty secure with only 2 races on the cards.
Yeah, decently secure for Scott Shire, but the problem is, because you said it is winning you're in, you've always got to look back behind that cut line. Who back here can win, can add their name to that wins list? Matt Crockett, David Leakey, Jeremiah Hobbs all had pretty consistent seasons sitting up here in the top 15. Somebody that I'm looking forward to potentially win would be Jeremiah Hobbs, though. I could see him getting himself up towards the front of the field and potentially getting a checkered flag before we get to the playoffs and kind of screw up this entire cut line.
And of course, we swing on down to Avondale, Arizona, the track that took over the NASCAR Championship for the last few years. Of course, it is set to make its return to the Homestead Miami Speedway. Pretty much ideal track conditions, at least temperature-wise, right? 88 and 90, pretty good considering you're in the desert. The thing to be worried about tonight, the wind. 19 miles an hour blowing off to the north. Some of the strongest winds we have seen in the calendar so far.
Yeah, and what that's going to do is just into one set of corners, you're going to be, hitting that headwind, getting really, really tight. The other end of the racetrack, you're going to be carrying a little bit more speed into the corner than you're probably thinking you're going to, potentially getting loose under the braking. So it's just kind of, one corner is going to be a little tight, one corner is going to be a little loose. Got to just kind of wait to see this one play out. I'm really worried about the exit of turn 2. It gets really tight off of there. 4 is pretty decent. You can roll the center of the corner and really throw the car up on the exit. But if you're loose out of turn 2, especially if you're battling side by side with somebody, it can definitely throw a wrench into this thing, and 19-mile-an-hour winds are nothing to scoff at.
2 rookies will be entering the field this afternoon. Of course, those drivers being Ryan Philbrick this afternoon and Philip Neese. Philip Neese, of course, related to Joey Neese, who's been racing here for some time now. Ryan Philbrick in particular, I think one to keep an eye out for here this afternoon. He was pretty far up there on the practice charts and could be looking to make a splash here after qualifying.
Yeah, and again, any of those guys below that cut line winning could completely change the complexion of the playoffs here coming up. So you're mentioning some newcomers, some different guys up in the top 10 here that could potentially throw this thing for a loop whenever it comes to the playoffs. But I mean, hey, look at that effort from Wyatt Walker getting himself up here in the top 10. I mean, that's a heck of a job from a guy just on the fringes of the playoff. Wyatt needs a really good night.
Of course, these the results from practice. Walker up into 3rd, Philbrick coming away with number 2, just 300 of a second behind Thorpe, who topped the practice charts. And Philip Neese, the other rookie entering today, only a 10th of a second out as well, right? And now at Phoenix, that's not nothing, having 2 rookies into the top 10. Much like Jaden Hopp from last season, I think these 2 might be ones to watch this afternoon. Of course, 150 laps, so it's a long race, likely to be an attrition-filled race, with there being over 35 cars getting set to take to the grid here this afternoon. As the field getting set to rumble this afternoon, what do you think? Anybody particularly you're keeping eyes out for as we get set to close out the drivers' meeting?
I mean, I kind of already mentioned them, but you showed the practice times, and I'm looking at the qualifying times right now. Wyatt Walker, 3rd in practice, 3rd in qualifying, and like I said, flirting with that cut line down there around that 10th place spot for the playoffs. So I'm honestly looking for Wyatt starting up towards the front. He's got pace from practice. I want to see if that 71 can keep that car up front.
Well, warm-up is going to draw to a close, and we're going to get set to kick things off here for racing action this afternoon. This is how they'll line on up for 150. Starting on pole position, it's going to be Benjamin Lacey for 785 Racing alongside Ronnie Norman, one of the other rookies entering racing action this afternoon to the Amazon Prime, number 32. Moving back to row number 2, it's going to be Wyatt Walker for GLW Racing alongside Jaden Hoff. Row 3, you got the likes of Michael Thorpe Jr., you got Ty Marasco, with row 4 being brought up by Hunter Karsten, making his first return. Hasn't raced here in some time. Curious to see what he's going to be able to put on this afternoon. He will be starting alongside Tanner Marr. Closing out the top 10, it's going to be Jeremiah Hobbs and Kevin Foster.
One back, one more row to row number 6. Dalton Kilrow for MFRD Racing starting on the inside. Brian Zimmerman in that number 22 Ford starting on the outside. Going back to row number 7, David Leakey starting in the 13th place spot. Larry Bell on his outside in 14. Starting in the 15th place position tonight, Mr. Consistent, Nicholas Coruscant himself trying to get himself closer to that points lead. Brian D starting on his outside in 16. Going back to row number 9, Scott Shire starting on the inside in 17th. Dustin Ping starting on his outside in 18th. And then back to row number 10 here tonight, Jacob Locklear in the number 96 starting on the inside. Christopher Bassinger for Golden Guardian Autosport on the outside in 20th.
From there, 21st place is going to hold Con Gibson alongside Carter Phillips. 23rd to 24th on row number 12 is going to be Nicholas Lovell alongside Philip Meese. Yet another rookie to the grid, this one starting back in the back half of the field. 25th to 26th, it's John Osborne and Ethan Sikorsky with the likes of Matt Crockett, Matt Sotomayor, Joey Neese, and Nick Nickerson closing out the top 30.
31st is Ryan Philbrick with Michael Keithley on his outside in 32nd. Starting in 33rd place, we got Eddie Hackey with Bob Berry on his outside in 34th. Adrian Loya going to be starting in the 35th place position with Paul Sathmary on his outside in 36th. And then finally, at the very back of this 37 car field, we've got Mike Massengill in the number 20. And a couple cars do have to take the take the EOL penalty at the start of this race. It looks like Jaden Hopp, Michael Keithley, Christopher Bassinger, and Nick Nickerson all getting penalties from last week that are going to have to drop them to the rear.
And of course, Nick Nickerson will have to come down pit road as well, as he has got some additional penalties that he's got to handle this afternoon. Well, the Iris lights are still on board the Iris pace car. We'll give these guys one more lap to be able to let them kind of get things up and sorted here as we'll work our way back around at the start-finish line. Lights go out this time by. We should be set to go. 150 laps ahead of us right around the corner. Austin, last time we were here, we crashed before we could even take the green flag on the back straight. And now, granted, that was partially due to technical failures on behalf of Justin Ping. Hopefully, tonight's race gets off to a bit of a smoother start.
I have a little bit better feeling about it. I definitely think we're gonna get some green flag running at some point here tonight. But at the beginning of this race, if I'm anybody behind this first row right here, I'm a little worried because typically Benjamin Lacey is a guy that is a long run warrior. He's going to kill you on the long run. Doesn't necessarily have the most get up and go on the short run, but man, he's qualified it on pole and did it by a whole 10th. He's got the short run speed here tonight. If he's got that long run speed as well, he's going to be a tough one to beat up here starting on the pole.
Pace car is down to pit road. We're happy you're joining us for more racing action here on this fantastic Monday night as the IRT pace car is into pit road. Benjamin Lacey leads the field around. And for the first time of 150, it's time to go in the desert!
Lacey easily clear, cutting that dog leg just about as much as he can on the initial start. Michael Thorpe Jr. trying to follow him through down on the bottom. Wyatt Walker firmly in the second place position, coming down to the long sweeping turns 1 and 2. Thorpe Jr. on the inside can't quite get to the gas. That's going to let Wyatt Walker use the momentum on the top side of the racetrack to try to challenge him down to the ring.
Oh, trouble and a big hit into the fence. Multiple cars going around and a hard hit into the wall for Larry Bell, who got swallowed up almost immediately. We will not make it to the end of lap number 1 without getting our first caution flag on the night.
Well, we got a couple cars absolutely destroyed. Like you said, Larry Bell, Brian Dees, absolutely destroyed as well. Massive impact coming down into turn 3 about mid-pack. You said it all started with Larry Bell trying to get eyes on exactly what happened to Larry here on lap 1.
It's a rough ride. He rebounded off the inside wall and then shot right back up towards the outside wall into traffic. This is how this went down. Well, that is well after it has already started. That's the very tail end of it. Here we go. This will tell the story as the field comes around for turn numbers 1 and 2.
And coming down the back straightaway, you can kind of see Larry Bell. He gets a decent run on the 84 here. Going to try to drive it down into the bottom of turn 3. Lakey comes down because he's completely clear, maybe just lifts a little bit earlier than the 43 was expecting. Too heavy on the brakes, clips that inside wall, and then back across the field,
Oh,
collecting
man.
Porous L. D's, huge impact for Brian D's. I mean, both those cars are basically finished.
That is a devastating blow into the fence so early on. And Larry Bell can blame nobody but himself for that. Just lost that all by himself.
And that's just the difference in lap 1, right? Everybody's kind of figuring out their braking points, figuring out exactly where they need to get down on the brakes whenever you got a big pack of cars around you. You know, in practice, you're typically just solo car, or you've got just a handful of cars out there running together. Here, whenever you get all packed up on a restart, it becomes a little bit more difficult getting down into the corner. Larry, I think that his braking spot was probably good. I think he makes the corner if Lakey doesn't slow down a little bit early, but you know, Lakey trying to dodge the dirty air in front of him, trying to make sure he gets a good center of the corner. Brakes a little bit earlier than Larry Bell expected, and unfortunately it just caught Larry out enough, and even more unfortunately it catches up a couple other contenders. Corcel with a little bit of damage, Ping with a little bit of a damage, and obviously Ryan Dees with probably a race under.
Now, Nick Nickerson still has a penalty to serve. Now, he has 3 green flag laps to serve that. Obviously, we didn't get 1, so those 3 laps still remain. But I'd imagine for Nick, this is only a detriment to him because he's been unable to serve that penalty. And if this goes stop, start, that black flag is going to be looming over him for a while, meaning he's not going to be really able to do much in the early run of this race because you don't want to be making passes if you have to give it up right away in pit road.
Yeah, he would have loved to have been able to serve that pit stop here on lap number 1. I'm actually a little surprised he didn't get down to pit road before the yellow flag came out.
It wouldn't have mattered. If it comes out in the middle of your drive-through, it nullifies it.
No, I swear you get to go through. I don't know. Either way, you still got to serve it. Come back to the restart. Benjamin Lacey easily clear once again. It's going to be tough to beat the leader on these restarts here tonight. Lacey just completely gone, using the dog leg to his advantage. It's going to be that side-by-side battle for second like we saw in the last restart. Just kind of reversed. Walker now this time pinned to the bottom of the racetrack. Dorp Jr. way up to the top trying to get the momentum coming off the corner. I think he's going to be able to clear for second. Walker's going to be stuck in a side-by-side battle with third with Hunter Karsten.
Driving her in deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. Walker kicking the tail end out. He'll drop to Hunter Karsten, who tries to go around the outside for third. And go around the outside. He will. Both Ping and Nickerson wasting no time in coming down pit road. They want to get that black flag out of the way before anything else happens. And Michael Dorp Jr. to the lead around the outside of Lacey.
He just threw it down into turn number 3, and that car just somehow stuck. I thought for sure he was going to wash up the racetrack, not be able to hang on to the right rear of Benjamin Lacey. But man, that number 34 stuck through the center of turns 3 and 4 and made it look easy around your race leader. Taking that away from him, and Benjamin Lacey now falter into third place. Side by side with Hunter Karsten. Karsten's going to have that drive off of 2, excuse me.
Hunter Karsten looking to make the move down the back straightaway. He's going to do just that. Benjamin Lacey not with a lot of speed down to the inside of the racetrack. So like you say, he's a long run competitor. That short run is where he tends to struggle a little bit. And while Phoenix tends to be a very short run type of racetrack, 3 wide into turn 1, and Ronnie Norman's going to back out from the middle.
Yeah, a bit of a hairy moment there coming through the dog leg down into turn number 1. Looked like it was going to get a little messy. These guys get it all sorted out. Thorpe Jr. a little wide. Coming out of turn 2, hanging on to the race lead. Still clear of Karsten, who's still clear of Benjamin Lacey. All these guys just kind of settled 1, 2, 3, 4, all in a single file line. Jeremiah Hobbs looking a little feisty behind Wyatt Walker. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get side by side as he's got Ty Marasco and Ronnie Norman fighting behind him for 6.
Lacey still looking to find the inside of Hunter Karsten as well, not able to do so. So the fight for the lead going to remain a hotly contested one. While Thorpe may have gotten to the lead early, he has not been able to break away. And Karsten is eager to try and run him down.
Just so scattered through turns 3 and 4. They get it, you know, kind of orderly single file for about half a second coming off at turn number 4, and then all of a sudden everybody running different lanes through the dog leg. Some of them deciding to cut it, some of them decided not to. Up towards the front though, Hunter Karsten continued trying to run down Michael Thorpe Jr., but Thorpe's turns 3 and 4 has been just a little too quick. I think he's burning the tires up a little bit to where if we do get that long run, it's going to hurt him, but he's carrying way more speed through the center of 3 and 4 to where Karsten can't get the run off. He's just having to sit here in the draft of the 34, trying to get anything he possibly can down the dog leg into turn 1 once again. Thorpe Jr. again higher up the racetrack, letting that 13 get the clean air down on the bottom, but using that momentum from the top side to get a good run down the straightaways, not letting Karsten get close. In fact, pushing Karsten back to Benjamin Lacey, who's looking to make it a side-by-side battle for second. Not quite with the overlap there for the driver of the 7, though.
Not quite there. He's not going to stop trying, though, as Lacey tries to look for the inside. Behind them, Jeremiah Hobbs fighting it out with Ronnie Norman. Norman screams to the inside at turn 1. Looking to try and secure the spot still for the number 3, and while also looking to attack Wyatt Walker, who currently is just hanging on to that 4th place spot. All the way back through this field, you got other fights that are still very much on as well, although mostly single file all throughout.
Yeah, but honestly, pretty good racing all throughout the pack. Inside the top 10, everybody's battling, but they're battling clean. Up towards the front, Thorpe Jr. continues to do his crazy wash and move up towards the top of turn 3. I mean, it almost looks like Hunter Karsten can get to his inside coming off of 4, but the momentum just carries him away from the 13, and then letting Benjamin Lacey again get to his inside here, coming down into turn 3. This time, the 13 got a little twitchy, got a little loose on the exit of the corner, used a little bit too much throttle through the center, letting Benjamin Lacey get to the inside, side by side for second once again. Lacey's trying to get it back away from Karsten.
Looking to try and battle back for Benjamin Lacey in the Real Earth Films number 7 Mustang. Down the front straightaway. And still, this fight is going to remain. So no dice just yet. I tell you what, these guys are having a time of it.
Having a good battle here for second. Lacey might have cleared the 13 for a split second there, but he got to the left rear quarter panel of the 34, didn't let him get up the racetrack. He's going to stay side by side with Hunter. Thought that he could just possibly clear, but coming down to turn 3 this time, he's going to try to wash him up the racetrack, take that lane away from him. Benjamin Lacey able to clear Hunter Karsten for second place. Now his sights are set on the race leader. Michael Thorpe Jr. took it from Lacey just a handful of laps ago, and already Lacey back up in position and back onto the back bumper, looking to the inside in 1 and 2.
He's going to hunt down to the inside. Lacey going to battle it out with Thorpe. The pull center trying to take it right back, leaning on the door in turns 3 and 4. A fantastic fight that these guys are putting up so far as they work their way down the back straightaway and back into turn number 1.
Yeah, he drove it into 3 that last time, got a little sideways, had to kind of stall his momentum, trying to get it back here now through 1 and 2. The long sweeper, Thorpe Jr. is going to have the momentum up top. Lacey's just going to have to cover from Karsten. Kind of half block him up towards the top of the racetrack, then down into turn 3 once again. Lacey sliding it on entry in the dirty air, washing the car up all the way to the wall. Thorpe Jr. a little bit more tidy as we're looking at the replay here, a little bit further back in the pack. Some issues for the 19.
Yeah.
Well off the bait.
That'd be Adrian Loya that has potentially gone around in turn 2, and in fact he has. Slid it out, tags at the inside wall. No caution. We kept it green because there was nobody around him on the racetrack. But a day that just goes south for Loya. Still up 2 for a starter, but I'm sure, spinning in the opening 20 laps was not on the bingo card for tonight.
Leader was sideways through 3 and 4 that last time. Got the right rear tire, stepped out a little bit more than he was comfortable for, and now it looks like Lacey's trying to take the lead away from him. Not quite clear. Thorpe Jr. had just enough in it through the center of the corner, using that momentum. Able to clear again, but there's some chinks in the armor. Thorpe overdriving the entrance of 3. Just about every time we go through that corner, I can see that rear end stepping out ever so slightly, not completely comfortable as your race leader in the clean air.
And Ronnie Norman, who you're watching on board, that has a front row seat to all of it, looking for a chance when he can insert himself into a fight for the lead. There is no bigger way to make a statement than by taking a race win in your first race of the league against some of the best that the league has to offer. And right now, Norman's showing that he is still a very real threat for the top 2.
Yeah, Norman didn't have the greatest start in the world, dropped a couple positions, but now back on the back bumper of your second place driver, Benjamin Lacey, who's still trying to get the race lead back away from Thorpe Jr. Thorpe's just proven to be super, super difficult to pass. Just placing the car right where he needs to. Honestly, maybe half a lane too far up through turn 3 and 4, but I've kind of documented that he's just overdriving turn 3 ever so slightly, letting Benjamin Lacey get that clean air down on the bottom. and then driving it down into turn 1. Lacey way deeper down into the corner, just trying to get some overlap with the 34 coming off. Lacey sliding it ever so sideways. Gonna cost him a bit of momentum down the back straightaway, down to turn 3. Gonna have to regroup and try again one more time. He needs a mistake out of that 34 though.
Oh, behind, Jeremiah Hobbs pushed up the racetrack towards the outside wall as Ty Marasco sent it. Dalton Kilrow going to take advantage, puts them 3 wide down towards turn number 1, and all of a sudden, Marasco goes from offense to defense as Kilrow trying to climb back to the field.
And Marasco might have slid it in there just a little bit too deep, pushed both him and Jeremiah Hobbs up the racetrack. Hobbs able to use the momentum on the top side to clear Ty Marasco, but Ty just completely choked off with that exit of the corner. Brought Dalton Kilrow into this fray. Decent job hanging on to the positions down the back straightaway for now, but he does have a rear view mirror full of the number 41 as we come down to turn 1.
And look at this gaggle of cars. This is about 20th on bag. Michael Keithley desperately trying to keep drivers like Paul Savier at bay. Nick Nickerson is a lap car trying to just work his way through the melee. Christopher Bassinger is in the mix of this back here. Philip Neese is back here. Sikorsky is back here as well. It's a madhouse in the midfield.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you look. There's action all over the racetrack. These guys all fighting for it. Nick Nickerson just hoping one of these guys ends up spinning it out, giving him a lucky dog, letting him get back on the lead lap. Bassinger trying to pick up some spots. Diving under the bottom of the number 24, Paul Sathmary, able to get one of those positions. Not the night Bassinger would have won it here in the early going, though. Not too high up the running order. A little bit further up, though. David Leakey, Connor Gibson, both side by side. Gibson with a great run 2 weeks ago at Richmond, trying to back it up with another good run at another flatter racetrack.
So a big style run here for Gibson, Leakey, and then he's also got the likes of Lovell and Philbrick back here as well. Ryan Philbrick, I'm a bit surprised. I mean, this is a driver that we saw second place in the practice charts. Started at bottom of the field. He was plus 14 on the day, so Philbrick's got pace. He just didn't have anything to show for it in qualifying.
He had a terrible qualifying. Well, I say terrible qualifying outing. It looks like he did not put down a lap. He didn't even try to put down a lap, so it's not like he messed it up in qualifying. He just maybe wanted a little bit more of a challenge here tonight, starting at the back of the field. Been doing a good job getting himself towards the front, and ultimately still a long time left in this thing, right? We're only 27 laps in of 150. He's got plenty of time to run down these race leaders, especially whenever you throw in a couple cautions like we think we're going to get at some point. I mean, this field is so on top of each other still, especially in the top 10. I'd be shocked if we don't get a yellow at some point.
Well, and of course, you've still got Nicholas Lovell, who's also a driver for Philbrick's got to contend with, yet another rookie in the field. So quite a few new faces joining the series here this afternoon, and honestly consider, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to say it. I was about to say something really dumb for a commentator to say. Knowing my streak of luck that we've had, I'm not going to say it. Benjamin Lace going to look to the inside of Michael Thorpe Jr. as Thorpe clears still. Looking to fight up in the lead. Adrian Loya into the wall right behind.
Now I'm curious, what were you going to jinx?
I'm not going to tell you, unless you want to tell it for me.
I mean,
I think you can guess.
What you're talking about.
Oh, there we go. A couple of them going around. Bassinger sideways on the front straightaway, and there it is. Well, now I can say it. We were having a very good green flag run for there being 37 cars on the racetrack. And honestly, what about 25, 30 laps? That's about as good as you can hope for at a track like Phoenix with a field this size. And
see, if you would have said it whenever I told you to say it, you would have looked so good right there.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
You have the caution feeling.
I had the feeling, and I figured, you know what? If I don't say it, it doesn't count.
I think it counted. You insinuated pretty heavy.
No, that's not how
you insinuated.
No, not at all. You insinuate. You can insinuate all you want.
I think you're trying to misplace blame. Either way, we got the whole field coming down pit road. That was a few too many laps to try to stay out on some worn tires and take the clean air. So everybody coming down pit road, it seems.
Yeah, no surprise on this one. I mean, tires are going to be cooked after that long, extensive run of battling. Now the question is, do we see anybody take two or try to go fuel only?
Oof.
I would say no. I would go 4.
I was about to say 30 laps in. Now, I mean, I guess I haven't checked the tire info. They have 4 sets of tires behind pit wall. So you got to think you can take tires on lap 30, lap 60, lap 90, lap 120. So on average, you can change your tires every 30 laps. Look at this.
Oh no! Brian Zimmerman missed his box, and he has gone straight through pit road and out the other side and into the lead. Oh, that
I'm Brian Zimmerman here. I think I take my medicine and come back down pit road the next lap. I think you're just too much of a sitting duck if you don't take tires.
That's a critical error. Thor, by the way, taking fuel only, so someone had to try it.
Wow. I'm shocked. You can take tires every 30 laps. I get wanting to save a set, but I don't know. I think I would have taken a set myself. Coming off the corner here, turn 4.
Ooh.
Passenger was not expecting the slow car up on the top of the racetrack. The 30 came down ever so slightly, and Passenger just could not get out of the way in time.
Yeah, it's all kind of all in the 15 there, if you ask me. Keith a little bit loose as well. Passenger may have been looking for the run up high. Good save for the number 30. Nobody hitting anything, so that's about as mild of an incident as you could hope for at Phoenix.
Yeah, just a bit of a weird situation for Passenger to be put in, right? Just a slow car up on the top. He had his vision blocked by another car going down into the corner. Just kind of caught him off whenever he came out. He was expecting to have clean racetrack to be able to use the entire width of the racing surface, but obviously car high doesn't allow that. So Passenger unfortunately goes around, but no damage, no problem.
So working lap 33 of 150 this afternoon. Tonight's race still looking to be a good one. Big mover on the day. Going to be Ryan Philbrick and Michael Keithley up 16 for the both of them. Paul Satmary up 18. Massagill up 13. Locklear up 10. All drivers to keep eyes on as this race continues to work deeper and deeper into the running. Green flag is back out in the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone, and Thorpe takes us back to green.
Yep, Thorpe easily getting clear again, coming off of turn 4 there to the restart. 3 wide, coming down to the 1. About mid-pack, Tanner Marr stuck in the middle here in that number 44. The bad luck that we've seen for the 44 this season has been ridiculous. He's just trying to get out of this. The other end. No, the 96 is going to go around off the nose of Tanner Marr. And it's going to be a huge pile up. Multiple cars involved coming out of turn 4 and down the back straightaway. Huge impact to the inside wall. Scott Shire, one of the bubble drivers involved. Larry Bell, front end completely torn off, and Passenger, after his spin, put him back there. And then he gets caught up in the next incident.
Pretty sizable crash there with Jacob Locklear being hooked into the outside wall. Jaden Hopp was lucky to escape that. He was the last driver up high to get through that. And Gibson, I don't think, was as lucky, as the 96 just tracks into the 44, gets hooked into the 31, and he spins down, and it's just a bottleneck as Keithley gets one of the wall. Shire with a hard hit into the inside wall. Same with Keithley, and Osborne caught a wicked piece of that as well.
Yeah, that's going to take out a good handful of cars there. Coming down that little short chute, just so difficult to avoid an accident, especially happening right on the fringes of the top 10 here. Just about 40 cars in this race. See something happening in the front third, and it's typically going to catch up a good chunk of other cars a little bit further back in the pack. Unfortunately, they're a good number of them got some pretty hefty damage down the back straightaway. John Osborne there with the front bumper completely torn off of his number 5. And it just kind of sucks. I don't know if the 96 didn't realize they were 3 wide. Maybe Tanner Marr was trying to give a little bit too much room to Connor Gibson, and they both just ended up meeting in the middle there.
There's no way you wouldn't know you're 3 wide in this situation. I mean, the spotter would be yelling that in your ear constantly. Right aboard with Eddie Hackey here. Good job on the last-minute duck around that.
I mean, he really couldn't see much. The fact that he got through there, it's like 50% luck, 50% skill. He definitely put himself where he needed to be. But man, you're just kind of holding the brake, holding the steering wheel as straight as possible, and just hoping and praying nobody runs you over at the same time. Haggy did a good job getting through there, though, and got a little lucky.
Well, we got an opportunity here. We can check in on the battle for 10th place right now in the standings. That is everybody through the top 20, so a pretty extended look at the live point standings as they run. Right now, Benjamin Lacey, interestingly enough, would be putting himself into the 10th place spot. Now, that said, Lacey is currently locked in because he has a win on the season, I think. No, he does not. So Benjamin Lacey right now would be taking that 10th place away. Crazy
so
how
Lacey could put himself into the playoff here even without the winning in.
Crazy how wildly things can shift when you're in the middle of a 37-car field. Look, they might have to hold this start off here. Dustin Ping going real slow. Yeah. I think there's some confusion in the running order here. Dustin Ping might have an EOL that he is attempting to serve. We'll see what's going to happen is getting to the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. Looks like they're going to let it go. Thorpe jumps. We are good to go. Except Ping has been black flagged. I would hope that would get clear. He couldn't really do much more than what he was doing.
Yeah, they just cleared it for him, so he'll be fine. 2x2 over the front of the field. Thorpe Jr. bit off a little bit more than he could chew entering turn 3. Here comes the 13 down to the inside, coming off of 4. Hunter Karsten trying to take the race lead. The 34 just a little too deep down into 3. And now side by side, coming down through 3 and 4. Can Hunter make this move stick? Looks like he's going to get clear of Thorpe Jr. off of turn 4, coming down the dog leg. Big time move from the 13 on the restart.
Thorpe, though, not going to take that line down. Down onto the apron at turn 1. Tracking up, but he's not going to be able to do anything about it. Hunter Karsten clears out of turn 2. Valiant effort from Thorpe, but when you go that far down, you just scrub off so much speed that if you're not clear by the time you get to 2, you're not going to be able to do anything but watch them cruise away.
Yeah, he tried the old slider coming down into turn 1 that time, but that was just a little too deep of a slider without having much overlap with the guy you're trying to pass. And we got another yellow a little bit further back in the pack. I think it might be all the way at the back.
It's Brian Zimmerman, who has spun around the 22 on the front straightaway. And, well, went green for a while, and now 2 cautions back to back. And it's looking like it's going to turn into one of those nights.
Well, that was just the 22 being crazy loose coming off of turn 4, and then he hit the apron coming off the corner after he was already loose, and it just kind of finished him off. He couldn't get this thing to stop fishtailing as soon as he started losing it coming out of turn 4. I mean, he was wrecking for half the straightaway before he finally spun that thing out. Doesn't look like there's going to be any damage on the 22. Just going to put a little pause on the action here for a moment.
Right on board. The helmet cam of Zimmerman. That is on board with Matt Sotomayor. Apologies. This is with Zimmerman.
Got a decent wheel put into it. You can see the back end already coming around.
Probably just stamp the throttle too aggressively. You can hear him trying to throttle out of it. It just doesn't work like that. These aren't like dirt cars. You can just kind of like mash the throttle and get yourself out of a slide.
If you've got the banking under you, you can kind of do it in certain scenarios, but here at Phoenix, pretty flat as is, right? We're not running at 1.5 miles with a lot of load in the car and through the center of the corner. You know, you're coming off of turn 4 there and hitting the apron, the banking goes away. Any bit of your help goes away at that point too. So just kind of a tough break, but ultimately did a decent job not getting any damage off of that. Just a bit of a nervy moment there for Brian Zimmerman.
The lights are still on, but you can see already some drivers are preparing to get into formation. I think everybody's kind of raring to go. Hunter Karsten keeping a guessing on what lane he's going to pick here.
Yeah, they all had that 25-lap green flag run, and they're like, man, I want some more green flag run, and this was actually pretty fun. And the racing was actually really, really good.
That was a phenomenal run. I mean, as far as Phoenix green flag runs go, that was one of the better ones I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, all the leaders were just packed up on top of each other. There really wasn't anything between these guys. Lacey had gotten to the inside of Thorpe Jr. a couple times, just could not make the inside line work off of turn 2. Down the back straightaway, couldn't get enough overlap, but you know, if we get a longer green flag run, really get to the end of the tire life, I feel like we can get to the moment where people can really make those moves, make those passes, but it's going to be a tough ask. A lot of cars out here tonight, and Phoenix is notorious for the yellow flags. So I'm hopeful though. Hopefully we can get another long green flag run. Dalton Kilroe, though, the highest he's ran all night long. He's going to be restarting on the front row on the outside of Hunter Karsten. The only problem for Kilroe is nobody in that second place spot has had a good restart all night.
Adrian Loya has a black flag to serve. You'll have to do that on this restart. Meanwhile, Hunter Carson and Dalton Kilroe will look to lead this field. Back around to take the green flag. As 13 is into the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. Green flag back into the air, and he is gone.
Yeah, Karsten easily clear of Kilroe, but fortunately for the 41, Thorpe Jr. did not get a great restart there from the third place spot. Dalton's going to drive it in as deep as he can down into turn 1. Right on the back bumper of Hunter Karsten, just following him all the way through that corner. Going to hang on to second. Benjamin Lacey just tags the fence out of turn 2 in that side-by-side battle for third place. He's going to try to stay on that right rear quarter panel of Thorpe Jr. through 3 and 4. Coming out of the corner, just don't hit the wall down and get a good run down this long dog leg. Thorpe trying to cut it as much as he possibly can, but Lacey had the momentum all the way down the straightaway. Now Thorpe going for that crazy line that we've seen a couple times out of him. It's just not going to pan out. You just don't have the exit speed, and that's going to cost him, cost him another couple positions.
So Thorpe on the backslide. Jaden Hopp will happily take over P number 5 up top, as Hopp has almost recovered back to where he was set to start this race. And a lot of double file still deeper in the pack as well.
Yeah, a lot of fighting here. Thorpe Jr. now on the back foot, lost a couple positions. Jaden Hopp up to the top 5. Thorpe Jr. back to P6, and he's got a side-by-side battle right in his rearview mirror. Ronnie Norman on the outside. Wyatt Walker down on the inside, trying to hang on to that good track position that Wyatt Walker got from his incredible qualifying run. Dropped from 3rd to 8th here in the early going, but trying to pick one of those spots back. Looks like he's going to be able to pick up 7th place on Ronnie Norman and put Norman into a side-by-side battle with Connor Gibson here through 1 and 2. Almost contact between the two coming off.
Oh no! Look out, Gibson! Big sideways moment as he got hit from behind by Nicholas Lovell. They're able to gather it up. Tanner Marr almost got a hit from behind by the 06 machine of Ryan Philbrick. And nearly 3 by down the front straightaway. Boy, that got a bit dicey there for a second. They're able to gather things up. Adrian Loya has been black flagged again. And I think this one will be for Speedy.
I'm about to say, I don't know what's going on with the 19 at this point. He has this many black flags here in the early going, but it has not been the first third of this race that Adrian Loya would have wanted. David Leakey here on the outside trying to hang on to a position just outside of the top 10. Him and Philip Neese going at it here for the 14th place position. Looks like Neese is going to be able to take that away from him down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Leakey couldn't quite hold the right rear coming off of turn 4, so that's going to be Neese's spot. Up towards the front, Benjamin Lacey trying to get back up to second again. Lacey's been consistently quick, but man, he's just had to pass cars over and over and over after some poor restarts.
Benjamin Lacey holding the inside. Dalton Kilroe holding the outside. As the field sets to look to rumble back down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. Ty Marasco retains his run down on the bottom side. And Jaden Hopp maintains his momentum in 5th, trying to find a way through, but for now, they're going to go single file.
Great run for Ty Marasco up to the 4th place position here in the early going. Been able to pick up a couple positions as the driver of the number 1. Started 6th, just kind of hovered in this general area through the beginning of this race. Got himself up to his highest running position he's been in as well.
Whoa, hold on, look out!
Sideways, spinning out of turn 4. Is that the 94? Jacob Locklear getting a piece of it as well. Oh, and more contact for a few more of these guys further back. The 40, is it 49 involved?
Yeah, Matt Crockett, he's got a busted front end. That started with Ethan Sikorsky going for a big slide up in turn 4. That was all self-inflicted.
Yeah, that was a huge slide on the exit of turn 4, just a little too high up on the racetrack. Probably got a little bit too much wheel into it, trying to overcorrect that. Probably was too deep of an entry if I had to bet. Actually, he backed off pretty heavy there in a side-by-side battle with Jeremiah Hobbs coming through 3 and 4 here. I mean, I don't see a whole lot there. Obviously, just a little bit too high, though, a little out of the groove, and got on the gas maybe a little too heavy. Back in, just steps around.
Crosswind probably got him, too.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help. Locklear, his second accident of the night. This one probably going to bring them a little bit more damage. A little minor contact there at the very end, but probably avoidable in the same breath. But up towards the front, looks like we've got some split pit strategy. Hunter Karsten coming down pit road. Michael Thorpe Jr. coming down pit road. But it looks like everybody else stayed.
So several drivers come down while others seek to stay out. We'll break down what all of this means when we return after a quick break on Green Flag TV. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. 1 lap to go before we return to racing action here this afternoon. If you're just tuning in, welcome to round number 15 of the High Tide Racing League Garden Premier Series. My name is Ola Ramble alongside Austin Edstrom. We have got 95 laps to go at the green this time around. Split decision. Most drivers stay out. Dalton Kilroe will be up in the front.
Yeah, still a handful of circuits to get around here at the Phoenix Raceway. 95 laps to go whenever we go back racing. Split strategy decisions. How well can the new tires do coming from the back? Do they get through these guys on the older rubber quickly, or can the 41, the 7, the 1, the 00 hang on to that track position on the old rubber? We're about to find out.
MFRD teammates Marasco and Kilroe working together to coordinate that restart of the inside. They'll quickly secure a 1 and 2. No doubt. With how synchronized they were taking off there, Austin, I have no doubt in my mind Kilroe was counting Marasco in there on that one.
Yeah, I'd have to say teammate restart on that one, but hey, you get 2 positions up in the top 3. You kind of offer yourself that ability to do that. Ty able to cycle through into the 2nd place position and give his teammate a bit of a buffer here up for the race lead, because we've seen how fast Benjamin Lacey has been here tonight. Just hasn't been able to get that nose in the clean air that he needs. And now with that buffer between himself and Dalton Kilroe, it's going to be even tougher, because he's got to pass for 2nd for what feels like the 4th time tonight.
I mean, heck, even if Lacey's able to get, well, let's say even 10 laps on this run, that'll be enough for him to start to make time. He made that very apparent over the last run. Meanwhile, further behind, Connor Gibson, Tanner Marr, Lovell, Nickerson, Hobbs, and Moore all under a blanket as they're side-by-side for 8th on back.
And these guys not given a lot of room here on the fringes of the top 10. Connor Gibson doing a decent job after almost being swept up in an incident earlier, driving that number 31 up to the 7th place spot, trying to get himself into a battle with Wyatt Walker up here. Maybe bridge himself into the top 5 here pretty soon. Jeremiah Hobbs around the outside trying to pick up a position outside of, or sorry, for the top 10. That's Nicholas Lovell on the inside. He's trying to take 10th place away from. And Nickerson continuing his drive to the front after having those penalties in the beginning. Tight there between Hobbs and Lovell, but Nickerson's done a great job after starting at the back, having the pass-through penalty at the beginning of this race. He's gotten himself inside of the top 10 in only 60 laps. It's a great job from the driver. The number 2 is picking up another spot there to the inside of Tanner Marr in the 3.
Oh, and the 2 way up towards the outside wall. That'll allow for Marr to get down his inside pretty easily and take the spot away. Meanwhile, Michael Thorpe Jr. cutting through the field on fresh tires. Remember, the first time he came down pit road at the end of the 25-lap run, he did not take tires. He was on field only. So this whole time, he's been on fresh tires. He's been on old tires. Now he's on some fresh Goodyears, though, and he has quickly started to claw his way back.
Yeah, Thorpe Jr. trying to get through the field as fast as possible. You just got to be really careful not to tear up that machine using the new tires. And also, you know, you can not quite breeze past these guys at Phoenix, but you can pass them a whole lot easier with the new tires. You can't use up that new before you get to the leaders. You got to do a pretty decent job as he swerves down to the inside here. Brian Zimmerman trying to pick up a spot. You can't get stuck in these side-by-side battles and burn them up for lap after lap being side-by-side with somebody. You got to make these moves, and you got to make them quick as he's trying to go 3 wide down the dog leg, cutting the heck out of it, trying to do what he can. We've seen him run the apron time and time again. He's going to do it again, almost all the way down to the inside wall. The racetrack is way up here, Mr. Thorpe Jr. I don't think he got one spot, but he's going to be stuck middle.
I mean, hey, the apron is just a suggestion at this track, right? Track limits be damned when you're at a place like this.
Well, slider after slider from these guys outside of the top 10. I mean, this is outside the top 10, right? These aren't even the front runners that are running this hard. You get stuck in the midfield, and it is just...
it's around the edge of the top 10.
It's hellacious to come through, man.
And this is for the last spot inside the top 10 with Tanner just up the road.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's still, you know, kind of midfield. It's hellacious to get through it. There's just... You never have any time by yourself, especially, you know, 5-10 laps after the restart. Thorpe Jr. trying to get everybody can, but you know he's faster than these guys, right? He was running up in the top 5 on equal tires. Now he's got 20-lap newer tires. You would think that he could just pick his way through, but at a track like Phoenix, it is tough to utilize that bottom line, even when you got the new rubber.
Oh, Jeremiah Hobbs getting caught up and a bit loose. He slapped the wall in the middle of the back straightaway. He didn't lose his spot, but he did get backed up towards Tanner Marr and lost ground up to Connor Gibson. Not a lot of damage I've seen, if any, on the side of the 3, but those are the types of mistakes to keep an eye out for, because that'll add up quickly at a track like Phoenix.
Connor Gibson apologized for the issue. It looks like Gibson got the fence. Oh, man, Gibson got the fence right in front of him. Hobbs just couldn't react in time, got the back bumper of him. Somehow, Hobbs didn't get any damage. I'm actually shocked, because it was pretty major contact between his front bumper and the back of the 31.
Further down the field, Philomise and Michael Keithley have been exchanging blows the last little while. You got Matt Sotomayor back here as well, trying to claw his way back through with Team 5 Motorsports. Number 91, Nicholas Corcel, still in the mix for some of the back markers here, still on the lead lap. And then, well, here's the fight that just refuses to single file out.
Zimmerman on the outside here, trying to hang on to the 13th place spot. Got Eddie Hagge right behind him, following in his tire tracks through turns 1 and 2. Thorpe Jr. on the newer tires, a couple places ahead. Still has not been able to make up too much ground. He's finally about to break up into the top 10 if he can get around Tanner Marr here through 3 and 4, but Marr's going to hang it on his door, get on the throttle, not cut as much of the dog leg as the 34, but he's going to do everything he can to stay on that outside, keep that momentum coming down into 1 and 2. Thorpe, again, just driving it in as deep as he possibly can, letting the racetrack wash up, race car wash up, excuse me, God bless. Not able to get the run off the corner, though, and still Tanner Marr hanging on at 10.
Thorpe, though, finally going to be able to get up there and clears out of turn number 4. So Thorpe now into the top 10, and now he'll look to try and run down Connor Gibson and Jeremiah Hobbs just up the road. All of this while a fight for 4th started to brew as well.
Ronnie Norman, Jaden Hopp going at it. Hopp down to the inside, a little bit heavier on the brakes for the 00. Trying to rotate through the center of the corner, down on the bottom, make sure he can get on the throttle nice and straight. Just way too narrow coming off the corner, not really able to push the 32 of Ronnie Norman up the racetrack maybe as much as he would like. Able to make that move coming down into turn 1 and 2, though. Jaden Hopp moving up. Somebody else trying to move up. Benjamin Lacey down at the inside of Ty Marasco. Nearly contact with those two coming off of turn 2.
Nearly contact, but they kept it out of each other. And that's going to cause Lacey to slip back into the clutches of Jaden Hopp. Ronnie Norman doing a stellar job in his first outing of his High Tide Race League career. Here's a bit of 3Y. Hunter Carson, the driver that's formerly up front, now side by side with the Brian Zimmerman who brought to the last caution, and Ryan Philbrick.
everywhere you look, there's a battle pack on this racetrack. 06 ripping the outside, right behind Brian Zimmerman. Zimmerman getting a little loose, coming off that corner. About tack the wall. They're
Are we going to go four?
Four coming to the dog leg. They get it sorted out-ish before we get down into turn 3. Hunter Karsten here on the newer tires trying to come through the field as well. He's done even worse than Thorpe Jr. has done on the new tires. He has not been able to make the headway that we expected from new rubber.
Brian Zimmerman caught the outside wall, forces Philbrick to duck down into the inside lane, although he's going to be caught in the middle here. As Carson going to go down low, Pink going to go up top. Oh, and just chops the nose of Ping in. Tell you what, your season 2 champion cutting the GoPros here 6. A massive break there going into turn 1.
Zimmerman, another issue out of turn 2. That number 22 struggling on the top side of the racetrack. Hunter Karsten ripping the top, trying to get to the top side, trying to pick up one more spot. Looks like he's going to be able to do that. 15th over Tanner Marsh. Tanner starting to slide here late in this run. Could have burned up those tires a little bit. He was just inside the top 10, now battling for 15th.
Cars ducking left and right as everyone's just trying to find a way to get through each other. And all of this, as we approach the halfway point in this race, this next time by, boy, where has the time gone? Dalton Kilroe still leading the way with his teammate Ty Marasco in second. They've been in complete control since the restart, and this time by, 75 down, 75 to go.
Yeah, Dalton's done a good job here up in the race lead, and Ty's done a great job hanging on to the second place position. Benjamin Lacey's been hounding him for the last couple laps. Ty has not budged on the top side of the racetrack here, coming down into turn 1 and 2. Lacey trying to outdrive him to the center of the corner. Ty, though, going to gas it up, get there side by side, still hang on to the right rear quarter panel of Lacey coming off the corner. And that's going to let Ty Marasco keep that top side of the racetrack coming down into turn 3. But this is where Lacey can get it done. If he could just slide the 1, coming through the center of turn 3 and 4, he'd have the move completed. Ty had to get out of the gas to avoid hitting that fence on the outside. He's going to duck down to the bottom of the dog leg now, try the over-under coming down to 1, but I think this move is done for Benjamin Lacey. He's got the top side. That's the side you need here coming through the corner, but they're tight through turn 2. Almost contact between the two. Ty Marasco not willing to give up second place, but I think coming down to 3, it's all but done.
Yeah, eventually you are forced to make room. You're forced to make room whether you like it or not. And unfortunately for Marasco, he's got more competition around him on the racetrack, specifically up high, with Jaden Hopp in the 00 tracking up to the outside wall. And right now he's going to steal away third. So Marasco starting to hemorrhage positions.
Marasco just got stuck on that bottom side of the racetrack, and he's still stuck down there, not able to get back up to the preferred groove. Ronnie Norman trying to take the 4th place position away from him. You hate this for Ty because he's been doing such a good job hanging on to second. He loses 1 position to 1 guy, and all of a sudden, you're stuck on the bottom side of a big-time freight train coming around your outside, just losing 2, 3 spots all the way back to 5th place, just from losing 1. Kind of a tough break there for the driver, the number 1, and now Dalton Kilroe's buffer is gone. His helper right behind him, completely out of the equation. Can Benjamin Lacey run down Dalton Kilroe now?
Well, keep tabs on that, see if it goes anywhere. Meanwhile, Connor Gibson and Nicholas Lovell side by side into 1 and 2 as Gibson tracks up high. The Canadian Tire, number 31. And the Logitech, number 73, Chevrolet, sideways. They're both sideways out of turn 2. Able to wrangle it back. Philbrick trying to punch his ticket into 12.
Philbrick continuing to get himself up towards the front of the field, complete the pass for 12th now. He's got his sights set firmly on Connor Gibson. Gibson has started to slide through the field, contending for the top 5 just a handful of laps ago. Gibson back to the 11th place position, and Philbrick trying to push him back 1 more to 12.
Ooh!
Oh, big contact for multiple guys coming out of turn 2. Brian Zimmerman again in the outside wall. That was Hunter Karsten right in front of him as well. Karsten continuing to move up towards the front of the field after coming down pit road that last time. Only getting up to 13th, though, is the other guy that came down with him, Michael Thorpe Jr., up to 9th.
If you remember as well, Hunter Karsten tracked into the wall, and Brian Zimmerman just followed him in. Pretty hefty whack, and luckily nothing else came of it. And that allows Dustin Ping to start to build some more momentum as he now tries to fight his way around the 73.
Now stuck on the top side. Looked like he was going to lose that position to Ping, but I believe that he got his foot into the gas to the center of the corner, able to hang on to it a little bit further up. Thorpe Jr. trying to hound Jeremiah Hobbs. It's just that pit stop doesn't look like it's going to be in the 34's best interest. Second guessing the strategy, he has not been able to get through the field as fast as he would have hoped with those newer tires. He's kind of struggled here, getting stuck in the dirty air of a couple of these guys. Hobbs not making it easy for him, making the pass for 8th, and further back, Hunter Karsten continuing to struggle getting through these guys.
Oh boy, Lovell nearly clean. Karsten out there with a left rear hook coming off of turn numbers 1 and 2 through 3. Philip Meese fighting back against Tanner Marr, but he gets crossed up on the exit of turn 4, allowing for Marr to pull clear around the top shelf. Meese driving it back to the inside line, with Marr retaining his grasp up top.
Equally on the outside here, just trying to hang on. A little bit too high entering turn 3. Looks like he's going to lose that position. Coming through, at least that spot on the racetrack. Coming down through the dog leg. Back up towards the front of the field. Dalton Kilroe's starting to lose a little bit of ground on Benjamin Lacey. It's ever so slight, but Lacey was about 0.5 of a second back, 0.6 of a second back whenever he made the pass. He's cut that down to under 0.3 at this point, but catching a guy and passing him are two totally different things in this era of iRacing. The dirty air is worse than it has been at any point in the Sim's lifetime, and it's just one more thing that you have to fight to get by a guy. And I'm telling you, passing the race leader is no easy task whenever they've got a full track of clean air in front of them. The one reprieve here for Benjamin Lacey is there are some lap cars coming up, and there is one more pit stop required in this race. So a little bit of strategy could come into play.
You know, in terms of the lap times, you can see it on the bottom right. They've been very, very evenly paced this entire time, and I have to wonder, is Lacey potentially pacing himself, trying to go off Dalton Kilroe's pace to conserve his own long run pace towards the end of the tire stint?
I definitely would think so, but I also got to think, right, these guys came down pit road at what, lap 30, lap 32? So, you know, you look at it like that, you would split the race halfway at that point, and, well, on lap 30, there were 120 laps left. So the halfway point would be in about 2 or 3 laps. So you got to think some of these guys might start coming down pit road in the next 3, 4, 5 laps or so, cutting the strategy short. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the guys on the fringes of the top 5 try a bit of strategy to get that track
position.
Here we
go.
3 wide through turn 2 here. Tight situation. Connor Gibson holding up a couple guys on the outside of the racetrack.
Connor Gibson around the outside. He gets loose into 3, slips wide. Cars are going to go down the middle. Lovell going to track clear for the bottom side. And now the 81 for Ping Precision Autosports of Dustin Ping shoots down onto the apron. He's going to track up. Nearly gets into Lovell. Lovell's able to pull clear. Karsten retaining his strong momentum as this pace is shining right now from the number 73 as he holds back the field.
I can't believe that these guys have made it corner after corner after corner without wrecking. And Ping was sideways. Connor Gibson was in the fence. Hunter Karsten able to get a couple of them. And finally, I'm hearing Jeremiah Hobbs getting on the old communicator and saying he's going to be coming down pit road. So we've got our first takers here coming soon.
Jeremiah Hobbs into pit road as we speak. He's going to drop down through the field as a result. So for Hobbs, he will now be in. All the while, Dustin Ping and Hunter Karsten continuing to scrap it out up the road. Ping, Karsten, Zimmerman, Gibson, all under a massive blanket as they come down the back straightaway.
Yeah, these guys just can't stop fighting. I still can't believe Karsten hasn't been able to get through the field quite as well. I mean, that guy had race-winning pace in that first stint. He was challenging up there for the lead. Zimmerman having a bit of issue off turn 4 here coming through the dog leg. But Hunter Karsten looked like he was the guy that could have possibly won this race. But you've stuck him back in the dirty air, and he has not been able to get through these guys as fast as he would have wanted. And it looks like Zimmerman coming to pit road way down on the bottom of the racetrack here. That might end up being too fast. I think he got it slowed down. So
yeah, he got it.
Down pit road.
So Zimmerman down on pit road. Jaden Hop and Benjamin Lacey going to be the next pair up. Dalton Kilroe pulling clear, and the stadium lights, Austin, have just flicked on over Avondale.
Couldn't tell you the last time I've seen a night race at Phoenix. I'm here for it though. Wyatt Walker coming down pit road. His season best qualifying effort here, P3 tonight. He's had a decent night so far, ran top 10 a good chunk of the race. He's gonna have to try to finish this one off though after the pit stop, hoping to pray that a caution flag does not fly in the next couple of laps. We have had a pass for a second though. Jaden Hobb able to get past Benjamin Lacey, and now he is the one challenging Dalton Kilroe, and he is doing everything he can to get up to the back bumper of your race leader.
Eddie Hackey, Ryan Philbrick, both going to be down and into pit road. Nicholas Lovell and Dustin Ping going to exchange blows as Ping with a big lunge to the inside, and Lovell trying to get back to him. Won't get anything that time through as Joey Neese is into his box as well. Again, it is a question of when do the leaders come down pit road?
If you're the race leader here, you're basically just daring the guy behind you to go ahead and come down pit road. You're all bleeding position or bleeding time to the guys that have already come down pit road. But you're kind of content with that because they were so far back, and you're going to have newer tires to where you can run them back down over the course of the last 40, 50 laps in this thing. But for the guys up at the front, specifically Kilroe, you're really just waiting for that guy behind you to drop anchor, come down pit road, and then you say, all right, I'm going to run as good as I possibly can for one lap, and then come down the very next one. Make sure you have that tire advantage over the guys that you're really competing with. So Kilroe kind of in the catbird seat whenever it comes to the pit stop strategy, because you can just kind of base it off of the guys around you.
Several more come down. You can tell who's currently in pit road and who's out on the racetrack by the track map down to the bottom right of your screens as Tanner Marr looks set to try and pull this thing off. I tell you what, a great run that folks are having here this afternoon. As what a run, right? I mean, longest green flag run we've had so far tonight. I think now, you know what? It's about time. I'm going to just embrace that. I'm going to embrace that. It's just my luck that this is doomed to happen at least once a race. So may as well get it out of the way before we enter a really critical point, right?
Whoa. Kilroe coming down pit road. Benjamin Lacey coming down too. He just made up all that ground. Hello, Benjamin Lacey. That's a pit entrance and a half.
And Adrian Loya has just been black flagged again, even though he's not even in the session. I don't know how that is possible, but it has happened, and that is the entry from Lacey.
That's a ridiculous entry Benjamin Lacey did.
Can we talk about how did Loya get a black flag when he is not in the session or in the race car? How do you manage to do that? It was with 3 wide. You
know what? I think what you're getting mistaken with is he got a black flag before he disconnected, and he has just reconnected, so it's just showing you the black flag again. Because I'm not getting that new black flag.
I see. Clever. Look at you.
Figure stuff out sometimes.
Every once in a while we get it right.
Yeah, exactly. But
what's the word? Fake it till you make it.
To run a couple more laps. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what I do every day. I wake up and that's exactly what I think. Kilroe's come out in front of Benjamin Lacey. Jaden Hopp has continued to stay out on the racetrack. So Hopp running a little bit of a longer strategy. He wants that tire advantage at the end of this race. He's like, all right, go ahead, Kilroe, go ahead, Lacey. Y'all are going to get a little bit of time on me. I'm going to sit out here for 3 more laps, then come down pit road, take my tires, and try to use the new tires to my advantage to be able to pass you later in the run. So we'll have to wait and see if that strategy works out for Jaden Hopp as he has finally come down pit road. The 00 pitting from the race lead. So finally we're getting this strategy kind of cycled out. Going to get a decent idea of where everybody's going to be at. Got to wait to see when that 00 comes off of pit road.
Holy cow, I have just realized something. 81 concurrent viewers, the biggest audience by far that the High Tide Racing League has ever had. Welcome on board, everybody, to Green Flag TV. I don't know where you all came from, but I'm glad you're here. We hope you'll stick around for what has been an awesome, frankly, an awesome race by Phoenix standards so far. And there's no doubt going to be a lot of action yet coming up towards the end.
I'm saying, we just get rated? I mean, what in the world?
I feel like we did. Like, this came out of nowhere.
Either way, it's been a great race.
In fact, this actually may have surpassed the biggest live audience we've ever had on this channel.
It's been a great race for Phoenix standards, especially too. So it's definitely a race that deserves it because we've had long green flag runs, 2 of them now in this race. Only 46 laps to go. These guys got it figured out, even with a huge car count. So another 46 to go to decide it. Eddie Hagee coming across the line. Currently your race leader, a little off strategy on her. Hunter Karsten still hasn't pitted either. Nicholas Corzel, Michael Keithley, Matt Sotomayor, Kevin Foster, all those guys still have to come down pit road one more time. So it really kind of cycles that race lead back over to Kilrow, Lacey, Ronnie Norman, and then finally Jaden Hopp. That's really the gap you got to pay attention to. How far behind will Hopp be from Kilrow whenever they unlap themselves? And then can he use those newer tires to his advantage to kind of get up there and challenge?
Coruscant, Keithley, Sotomayor, and Foster, all of them under a blanket here in the battle for 3rd place on the racetrack. So it's a fight that continues to pick up as time is continuing to slip away from us. 44 laps to go. And the top 6 are looking to run this one out. And with how many cars are lapped down right now, right? Only 10 cars on the lead lap. I think the top 6, they are gambling on there being a caution that comes out to trap a chunk of the field to lap down and effectively giving them a free pit stop.
Yeah, I think they can run another 15, 20 laps. A couple of them if they absolutely want to, if they feel like they're going to get that yellow flag to come out at some point. But I don't know. We've had little moments where we get little battle packs of 3, 4, 5 cars going at it where they're beating and banging off of each other like they're going to wreck, but they just haven't, right? They've been able to keep it clean. I don't know if the strategy call is going to actually pay out for Eddie Hagee and Hunter Karsten, but the way that they had put themselves back in the pack, pitting under that last caution that we had whenever a lot of guys stayed out, they weren't able to get that track position back. So I kind of like throwing something at the dartboard, right? Just hoping and praying that it sticks. So that's what, old Hagee and Karsten, Corcel, all these guys trying to do at this point. You know what? Nicholas Corcel is Mr. Consistent this year, so he always seems to be on the right strategy. So maybe this is the one where these guys are going to strike gold.
Well, the field going to continue to fight this one out. And what do you reckon? Do you reckon the long run pays off? Or, I mean, in the 37-car field, now, granted, keep in mind, not all 37 cars are still running. 37 started this race, and we still got 28 circulating the racetrack. But at the same time, I do feel, to an extent, like the long run call is not going to pay off for these guys because, they have not been having a caution at all. We've got a few in the early half, but none since, about 58 laps ago?
I don't think that we're going to get the yellow flag to come out, honestly. I'm kind of trending towards this thing's going to go green, but is it just me, or does this racetrack not have the brightest lights in the world? Because I feel like these cars are getting harder and harder to see.
No, you're correct.
Lights need to be cranked up a couple.
Yeah, Phoenix Raceway does not have the brightest lights known to man. That is very much a fact.
It's going to be just about impossible to see that number 41 coming. One car that's not going to be impossible to see coming is the 00 of Jaden Hopp, because he is on the newer tires than Dalton Kilrow and Benjamin Lacey, and he is starting to run them down. He's less than 2 seconds away from what will be your race leader of Dalton Kilrow, just about to bridge that 1 second mark to him. So this is your battle for the race win if this thing runs green. Kilrow, Lacey, and Jaden Hopp, one of these guys absolutely needing an incredible finish, potentially a win to make the playoffs, with Benjamin Lacey here sitting in second. So you got to think Lacey's going to be getting up on that wheel, and he's not going to let Jaden Hopp just stroll on by if he gets up to him. Lacey has got to do everything he possibly can to win this race.
Well, the field going to continue to race this one out. Eddie Haggis in a pit road, as are several others like Kevin Foster and Matt Sotomayor. So that's going to promote Kilrow and Moore up the field. So the fight continues, and now Kilrow's up to 4th, and here comes Karsten. These guys are at the very end of their rope.
If Karsten Keithley decided to come down pit road, not able to push this thing any further. Not willing to. I think Karsten probably had some more gas because he came down pit road a little bit later than these other guys, but ultimately deciding this is not panning out. I'm losing too much time to the guys at the front of the field. Nicholas Corcel, though, deciding that he needs to stay out a couple more laps. That caution could be any corner now, so Corcel continuing to try to stay out, catch a caution. If he gets it, he'll trap a ton of guys a lap down. Only 12 cars on the lead lap. A few of those are probably going to come back down pit road for new tires if we do get a yellow. So at worst, Corcel probably restarting 5th or 6th on the restart if we get the yellow. The problem is it is a very, very big if at this point for the driver of the 40.
Oh, for sure. It's extremely rough, and you really have got to, man, you really have got to do everything you can possibly do to try and make this work as best as you can. It is not an easy task by any stretch of the means. Now, Corcel still leads the way. He is almost guaranteed to go down a lap when he comes down to pit road, which I think he's coming in now. So Corcel is in. Dalton Kilrow will remain out on the racetrack, and he's going to re-inherit the race lead finally with 33 laps to go.
And that's going to give us the perfect opportunity to really be able to watch those, the timing and scoring up on your ticker on the left side of your screen that you're watching on. Kilrow, after he passes Corcel, we'll get a pretty good idea exactly how big that gap is time and time again every time we come around this racetrack. Benjamin Lacey, half a second off of the back bumper, but more importantly, Jaden Hopp all over the back bumper of Benjamin Lacey with the fresher tires. Can Jaden Hopp pass Lacey, and can he get up to Kilrow before the end of this thing?
Cutting to it, Nicholas Corcel back out of pit road, but he is all the way back at 22nd after his stop. Jaden Hopp, meanwhile, looking to attack Benjamin Lacey down the inside. Down at turn numbers 1 and 2, Lacey trying to pull clear up high. This is exactly what Kilrow was hoping for as he looks to try and pull away.
Yeah, Kilrow's going to need that to happen time and time again. He's going to need Benjamin Lacey to sit in there. Make sure to be a roadblock here, not letting 00 by. If Lacey decides, all right, my best chance at winning this race is letting Jaden Hopp go so that him and Kilrow get side by side, then all of a sudden I think Kilrow should sit and duck at that point. Lacey way down at the bottom here through 1 and 2, trying to get good exit speed coming off, just enough to match the guy up top. Jaden Hopp's going to pull the over-under, looking down to the bottom. Coming down into turn 3, had a little bit more speed than the 7, but the 7's going to roll the center on the top side of the racetrack. Going to be able to get the momentum coming down towards the dog leg. Not going to cut it as much as Hopp, but that momentum's going to carry him just about clear before we get down into 1 and 2. But again, in that preferred outside groove, just going to be able to roll the center, stay to that right rear quarter panel, and just drive off on exit. Benjamin Lacey, actually, while they're side by side, they were catching Kilrow there for a lap or two.
So he is looking to continue to work this one away. While this fight's going on, you got to have a battle still going on in the field as well, right? Jeremiah Hobbs, Michael Thor Jr. fighting it out for 8th and 9th, about 9 seconds behind your leaders. Almost half a lap back is Philbrick and Zimmerman. They're side by side, and Philbrick just sniped that one away from the USA Firearms number 22.
I don't know if he got a spotter clear call yet at that point or not, but with how aggressive he drove it up across the nose of the race car there coming down into turn 1. That was a pretty close to just clearing yourself right up to the top side of the racetrack. Just about a nervy moment, but hey, Philbrick's done a great job driving from the back of the field up to the 10th place position. That was just a little hairy coming down into turn 1. Able to hang on to it though. Corcel, the guy on the newest tires, He's now hurting, though, in the track position, right? He stayed out, took the lead there for a couple laps. He's been Mr. Consistent this season, but right now his strategy has dropped him all the way back to 20th place. Still on the lead lap, though, for Nicholas Coruscant, so maybe he can use those newer tires to his advantage and go pick off a couple. Battle for the top three is continuing to heat up. Lacey a little bit quicker than Kilroe. Jaden Hopp a little bit quicker than the both of them as they're coming down the front straightaway, down through the dog leg. Lacey still clear in second place. But Jaden Hopp is giving these guys a run for their money up in the top three.
Again, I'm a bit amazed at just what an awesome race this has been so far. You know, 37 cars. I think it's safe to say you and I were a little bit pessimistic entering this one about our chances on getting a long green flag run. Did you see it going this green this afternoon?
No. No chance. There's no way that I would have thought that we would have a 75, 80 lap green flag run that could turn into over 100 laps. There's no chance. Not in Phoenix and not in the ARCA car, right? You know, there's just certain things you know whenever you run an iRacing enough. And one thing is that, you know, the shorter, flatter tracks, for whatever reason on the internet, don't pan out well most of the time. I'm looking at you, Martinsville, Richmond sometimes, and obviously Phoenix. Phoenix, typically, man, you get the caution after caution after caution. It drives good. It drives fun. It's exciting to race by yourself or just, you know, qualify a few times. But, man, you get in a race and you just get those cautions after cautions after cautions coming down into turn one on the restarts. And it just kind of drains the fun out of it. But, man, whenever you get a long green flag run like this, where your ability is truly on show for the most part, right? It's just you and the car and the track, lap after lap, battle after battle, as we see Kilroe, Lacey, and Hopp still under a blanket fighting for the race win. You know, you only get it to this point whenever you run 100 laps. You know, you get three cars under a blanket like this, the tires are wearing, they're screaming, just barely hanging on. This is whenever you get the best racing.
And by the way, I can now confirm that at our peak so far tonight at 84, we have set a new record for most concurrent viewers on a single show on Green Flag TV. So not every day that record gets beat. Tell you what, the VSCA 24 Hours of Daytona had it stood for a long, long time. Then, of course, Average Joe seriously came in and absolutely mopped the floor with that race. And their season's over at Daytona. And now, High Tide Racing League gets the honor of resetting that metric. Oh, hold on. One car. Slow up high. What in the world is going on here? That is Sikorsky with big problems.
He's somehow got that thing far enough off the racetrack where he'll be fine, but that's my best guess with how slow he's going and where he was on the racetrack. That was a little suspicious.
Whoa! Hold on. He money shifted into turn 3. You just rode on board. The RPM's kicked up. Something went wrong. He money shifted the car, and that's what caused him to be so slow. And it sounds like he could never really get the car into the gear he was looking for because he is cruising well below pace speed as he gets to his pit box.
Must have thought that he was in the next gen there for a moment. Coming down into that corner in the next gen, I know for a fact a lot of people shift, you know, between 5th and 4th gear here in the ARCA cars. I'd be surprised if you're shifting down to 3rd gear, though. So I would think that your hand would be off of that downshift key or paddle at any point. Like, I don't know why you'd be shifting here in the ARCA car with only 4 gears. Maybe once you get way down to the middle of the corner, way slowed up. But even then, I'd be shocked. So just kind of a weird situation to see somebody downshift coming here in the ARCA. Oh no!
Oh, it was inevitable. It's Connor Gibson. And this, Austin, is going to set us up for a Madhouse Bowman's Gray style finish coming at you.
That sucks. I was really hoping for this thing to run great because we were having a good battle there from the top 3, trying to get it all figured out. Gibson had just made a move on Coruscant. Coruscant drove it in there too deep and punted Connor coming down to turn 1.
Take a jump back as we come back around and into turn number 1. Coruscant stuffed her in there, and that was just not on.
Yeah, I think he thought that Connor was going to run wide through that center or through that corner, try to get a big run through the center, coming off, just use the momentum coming from the top side of the racetrack. So Nick thought, all right, I'm going to fire it down here on the bottom, wrap that painted yellow line, try to get a little bit of extra grip. But unfortunately, Connor just came down later in the corner. I just don't think Coruscant was expecting him to chase him down there. Nonetheless, 40 still absolutely turned the 31 there. Unfortunate to get that yellow, because man, that was an awesome green flag run we had there. And now it's everybody's going to come down pit road, take 4 tires, and see if they wash out.
Right. So under 15 laps to go when this race goes back green. What do you think? My personal opinion, I don't think we're done wrecking yet.
No, that's why I'm a little bit more.
Hold on. Kilrow has taken 4 tires. Lacey and Hop have taken 2.
Wow.
And,
I said Benjamin Lacey had to win this race. And he's showing it here by only taking 2 tires on that pit stop. He's saying, I've got to get away to restart on the front row and give myself an opportunity.
It's honestly an extremely split decision. Take a look at the last pit stop time here for drivers in pit road. For some reason, Nick Nickerson's wasn't logged. He was in pit road for 43 seconds. So we absolutely took a stop and wanted to bet 2 tires based on how he's jumped up the field. But look at how split the decision is on taking 4 tires versus 2 this late in the game.
Hey, 15 laps to go. It'll be about 13 on the restart. I like the 2-tire fire at this point. Even with the fixed setups, sometimes the 2 tires don't fire off quite as good. I think these things are going to be rotating pretty decent through the center of the corner. Might be a little twitchy through center and coming off of the corner. So you got to be careful. Don't get on the throttle too heavy right whenever you're trying to get back to it. But I like the 2-tire call, especially trapping Kilrow. First car on 4 tires on the outside groove here behind Jaden Hopp. That's going to be a big win for Benjamin Lacey too. But he's got to do better on this, better job on this restart, right? The one time that we've seen him line up on the front row was the very first start of this race. He fell back to 3rd immediately. So Benjamin Lacey's got to do a much better job on this restart, and he needs this for the playoff points and for that win to actually lock himself into the playoffs. So this is everything for Benjamin Lacey right here. This is his season.
So 13 laps to go when we look to take back to the green flag here this afternoon. Benjamin Lacey leads the way. He knows he has to get a good launch. He launches the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone, but Jaden Hopp timed it well. He's trying to chase after him, but he just can't do it with Nickerson fighting him back down low. Hopp does get clear and is able to stuff it back down into turn number 1.
It's a Hornet's Nest further back, 1 car sideways, way to the back of the pack. We're going to have another yellow flag coming out. Eddie Hagge stuck sideways, coming down through turn 2, and I got to say that was heavily expected. It's kind of what I warned about during that green flag run. You get the restarts coming down to turn 1, the dog leg, while it creates excitement in real life, on iRacing, it's definitely cautions because, people drive over their head a little bit too much. Here coming down to the corner, just, everybody's spread out like crazy. Eddie just got in there a little bit too deep, got into the back of Matt Sotomayor and sent him around.
And then unfortunately for him, Thorpe trying to avoid is the one that clipped Hagge and spun him around. So you could say pretty much some instant karma served up there on a platter to the 97.
Yeah, I'd have to say so. Obviously, there was no malice behind Eddie Hagge's move there. Just got in a little bit too hot on a restart. Was stuck on the bottom of the racetrack, was trying to roll the bottom as good as he possibly could, and just overdrove it ever so slightly, and a couple cars ended up going around, getting some damage. Nothing too serious, but it is going to cut a couple of laps out of this race, which is huge for Benjamin Lacey. His main threat right now is if, Kilrow gets into the clean air, or if Jake Hopp can just run a couple laps, single file, and run him down. But obviously this takes away a couple of those laps for Hopp.
Matt Crockett actually got spun around as well by Connor Gibson in a scramble to try to avoid this. Watch the 49 up high, right there, gets turned. And he's going to kiss the outside wall as well. Well, the field is going to get set to rumble out once again here this afternoon. And Austin, under 10. Do you think we get one more?
Yes. I hate to say it, but I'm telling you, just turn one here after the dog leg on iRacing. It's just, kind of just breathes disaster, right? Like you get all these cars jumping up on a restart, stacked up on top of each other. Some guys get bad restarts. Some of them get good restarts. Some of them use the dog leg. Some of them don't. Some of them use it more than others. And all of a sudden, everybody's just jig-jag coming into turn one. They're either 3 wide, offset 4 wide, and you don't even get a 4 wide call on iRacing. So it becomes really difficult to really know how much room you need to give. And it just lends itself to yellow flags on these late race restarts. So I'd be shocked if we don't wreck into turn one, either on the first or second lap here, at least one more time.
Coming back around. Green flag is back out. 9 laps to go. As Benjamin Lacey, Jaden Hopp, Nick Dickerson, Dalton Kilrow, all under a blanket. Lacey clears, but this time Hopp is right there and looking to challenge as he works back around to the turn. Numbers 1 and 2, back down to the back straightaway.
Got a great restart that time. The best restart we've seen from somebody in second place all night long. Tried to jump to the outside there in turns 1 and 2, just got a little bit too high. Didn't have the grip to be able to hang on to that right rear quarter panel of Benjamin Lacey, and now Lacey in the clean air trying to pull away. 8 laps to go. Can the driver, the number 7, get his first win on the year? We're going to get another yellow to shake this thing up.
The field continuing to work this one up and around as well. Multiple drivers sliding her out in the background. I think that was Matt Sotomayor. That went all the way to the inside. Jaden Hopp looking for a win, number 5 on the season, and he has just set the fastest lap of the race in pursuit of Benjamin Lacey.
Jaden Hopp running down your race leader, Benjamin Lacey. Both these guys on 2 fresh tires. The guy that was leading just a moment ago has cleared himself into 3rd place. He took 4 tires though, so he's got a little bit fresher rubber on the left side, but he's completely lost that track position. What can Dalton Kilrow do from the 3rd place spot? He looks a little tidier down on the bottom side of 3 and 4, able to cut through the dirty air, but just not able to make up enough ground in the number 40.
Look out!
Big wreck through the dog leg, multiple cars, heavy contact in the outside wall. The number 53 of Michael Keekly destroyed on the right front fender. Dustin Ping also absolutely destroyed on the back end of the dog leg. And here's the 73 spinning it back around after heavy contact against that outside wall. Nicholas Lavelle running inside the top 10, having a huge race ender with about 5 laps to go.
That was an absolutely devastating crash at the exit of the dog leg. And was there an attempt at 3 wide? No, Walker just turned down to the nose of the 73, assuming he was going to take the dog leg, and then the 73 goes up and hard into the outside wall. Just nicks Keithley in the middle of that. Dustin Ping with a big collision as well in the middle of all of that. Some big impacts.
Tanner Marr, you need to watch the onboard from Tanner Marr. He might have gotten the nose touched on the 73 here, but he just barely made it to where he's not going to get any damage. I mean, it was a great wreck avoidance from the 44 with Tanner Marr coming through here. Actually, I do think he got a piece of it, but ultimately not getting any damage, but should have been a lot worse for Tanner. A couple of these other guys that skate through as well. A couple big impacts coming to the end of this one.
Yeah, no kidding. As Dustin Ping got caught up in that as well. Oh, he got into it big with Brian Zimmerman. Oh, look at Thorpe escaped down low as well.
This is another kick in the teeth for Jaden Hopp. He really needs the laps after a restart to be able to run down Benjamin Lacey. It's just not really a move that you can get done in 1 lap here at Phoenix without just absolutely moving the guy out of the way coming down to turn 3.
Woo!
Lacey, that was Tanner Marr there. Yeah, like I said, very, very close there for Tanner Marr. Barely any room between him and that 73 car coming across. But I'm telling you, Jaden Hopp really needed the laps. He wants the laps more than anything to be able to build up some momentum, especially on the top side of one of these corners. But here, on that last little green flag run, Kilrow got himself up at 3rd. He was even chasing these guys down. And again, another kick in the teeth for Kilrow. Looked like he was going to win this thing about 20 laps ago, and pit strategy has gotten him back to third, and I just don't think he's going to be able to get up there and pass these guys. Less than 20 laps to go, 2-tire firing, boys. I'm telling you. It's the new meta strategy here on iRacing, especially these flatter tracks. I don't know why, but 2 tires seem to work pretty good for about 15, 20 laps. So you can really get away with it. I think Kilroe's just going to run out of time.
And it's going to be a Nat green-white checker to kick this one off. We are still in regulation time, and assuming we don't get another crash, this race will end on regulation time. One more caution, though, when it's overtime.
Benjamin Lacey picked the outside of the racetrack, too, right? He had the 4 tires of Dalton Kilroe, one of the fastest cars here all night, starting on the inside of row number 2. He decides, all right, I'm going to put you behind Jaden Hopp on this restart. Make sure that you cannot follow me through on those 4 fresh tires. Benjamin Lacey playing a little bit of gamesmanship here, coming to 2 to go.
Coming around. 2 laps to go. Benjamin Lacey jumps on the loud pedal, and Jaden Hopp trying to chase him down in turn 1.
Lacey clear once again, 2 laps to go. Hopp trying to drive it down through the center of the corner. Got to the left rear of Lacey just about, but not able to have the momentum off the corner. Yes, he is. Jaden Hopp with a burst of momentum out of absolutely nowhere. Nickerson's just about clear for third, but we're side by side for the race lead. Coming to the white flag.
Side by side as they come around through 3 and 4. Jaden Hopp's got the inside. Lacey up top. White flags out. We'll finish this race on regulation. Hopp still trying to hunt down the bottom side of the drive with the number 7. Sliding out. Contact. Pushes Lacey up the racetrack. Kilroe's there. Kilroe's trying to start this one away. Benjamin Lacey looking for win number 1. Trying to lock himself in. Marasco hard into the wall. Kevin Foster takes flight.
Goodness.
He rolls it into turn numbers 3 and 4. But Benjamin Lacey, first win of the season, and he locks himself in with 1 race to go in the regular series season. From out to in, Benjamin Lacey clinches one of the final spots up for grabs.
And that wreck down the back straightaway was absolutely massive. Has taken out a huge chunk of this field that we're all battling inside and around the top 10. And it all started from a hardware issue. Ty Marasco saying his VR completely froze coming out of the corner. And unfortunately, he played ping pong off the inside and outside wall and off of a handful of other cars. Unfortunately, gonna kind of upend the finishing order of what it probably should have been, but nonetheless, up at the front, it's exactly what it should have been. Benjamin Lacey, your winner.
Unbelievable end to race in action here this afternoon. It's been a while since Benjamin Lacey has taken his last race win in the championship, right? I mean, this has been something that he has been working on for a long while. It is his 12th of his career, and that is no small number, but it has, of course, been a very long time. His last win came at Kentucky of October 27th last season on a race that went caution-free, and this must feel great to finally be back on top.
I said in the early going in this race that Benjamin Lacey, mostly a long run kind of guy, but here tonight he qualified on the pole. Didn't look great through the middle of these runs. Wasn't able to take the lead, but used strategy in the short run here tonight to be able to get his first win of the season. Not your typical Benjamin Lacey style of victory, but he'll take it nonetheless. He put a stamp on it here after taking those 2 tires. Didn't relinquish the race lead from then on, and able to bring home the checkered flag after putting that thing on pole. Hell of a day for Benjamin Lacey to lock himself into the playoffs.
We'll take a look at the final laps here. Look at Ty Marasco going hard into the inside wall and then flies back up, clips Kevin Foster, and he goes up and over. Karsten gets around him. Hobbs gets into the outside wall. Marr gets collected. The 06 is in it. Thorpe's in it. And Foster hit again, gets kicked back into the air into turn number 3. Nearly goes back upside down, pounds the outside wall. Thorpe able to slip through there. But he is going to go and spin fully around in turn number 4 anyway. But a violent ride for Kevin Foster coming down to the turn number 3 and 4. They just kept on piling in here one after another.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, there was another car. Look at Wyatt Walker. Wyatt Walker went up and over as well.
Oh my goodness, 2 flips and 1 wreck at Phoenix. That's not something you see every single day.
That's a first for the channel.
I don't know if I've ever seen a car get upside down as quickly as we saw
my.
Kevin Foster in that moment. And somehow Kevin Foster, after flipping, still comes across the line in the top 15.
I don't know. Rodney Ayers from the Bolt Racing League might have an opinion on that for you there, Austin. He had a virtually identical wreck in the Milwaukee Mile at a turn 4, albeit early in the race, just this past Friday. And take another look back. This is going to be at speed this time with the wreck from start to finish. I have no idea what happened to Marasco there, but that is just unbelievable.
He said his VR froze.
Oh, and then right here, Walker ramps off the side of Thorpe.
And I'd be willing to give Marasco the benefit of the doubt there. I guarantee you're not coming off of turn 2 on the last lap in the top 5 and intentionally turning left and then right across the field down the short chute. So I tend to believe that he's telling the truth. Sucks for him that he had that hardware issue, and sucks for everybody else involved in that incident. You know, those guys were going to come home with decent top 10s, guys like Kevin Foster, even Ty Marasco himself getting caught up in that, having the hardware issue. Those guys had really good runs, good finishes lined up, and to have it taken away on the last lap off a hardware issue is it's a bit deflating.
Well, we'll look to take a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon, as it's a wild, wild ride for Benjamin Lacey as he finally ends what has been almost an 8-month losing streak. He clinches the victory this afternoon. Nick Nickerson comes on number 2, Hop in 3rd, Kilroy in 4th, and it's Norman, Carson, Philbrick, Corcel, Haggy, and Nice for the top 10.
Jumping outside of the top 10, Carter Phillips finishing in 11th, Connor Gibson rebounding to 12th after his late race spin, David Leakey 13th, Tanner Marr in 14th, Kevin Foster, after going flipping, finishes in the top 15, Ty Marasco 16th, Jeremy Hobbs in 17th, Matt Sotomayor 18th, Michael Thorpe Jr. involved in that last lap crash with Wyatt Walker. Both those guys finished 19th and 20th.
Coming back in 21st for the back half of the field is going to be Mike Massengill finishing 2 down. Joe Anise 2 down as well, with Zimmerman 3 down. Lavelle, Keithley, Ping, Sikorsky, Crockett, Bassinger, and Bell all finishing in the top 30.
Going down outside of the top 30, Jacob Locklear, Adrian Loya, Paul Sathmary, John Osborne, Bob Berry, Scott Shire, and Brian Dees round out your 37-car field here.
What a wild race that this one turned out to be, and frankly, I think a lot better than we were anticipating. This one has exceeded expectations this afternoon. We're going to take a run down and get a chance here to talk to the drivers that come home, numbers 1, 2, and 3 at the end of the night. And we'll look to kick things off first and foremost with Benjamin Lacey. This one has been a long time coming for the driver of the number 7. Ben, what a wild way to take this one for you. A 9-month losing streak finally comes to a close as you take your first win since October last year.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but honestly, what a fantastic race, especially up there from the top 3. Me, Dalton, Jaden, just seemed like we all never could get away from each other. And when that last caution came out after that, or one that ended that long green flag run, I thought I'd take a gamble and go 2 tires because I figured that would be the only way to get around him. It was so difficult to pass, and Dalton and Jaden ran a great race, and I just happened to be the first one out of the pits on that one, and then was able to hold off Jaden on a wild last lap there. I thought it was going to go around, but we were both able to keep it straight and get to the finish line. That was a lot of fun and a big smile on the face right now.
You started on pole, you finished on pole, and critically with this win, you have locked yourself in to the playoffs as well. You were on the outside of the top 12 entering tonight, so with this race being a critical one for you, does that make going into Charlotte next week that much easier?
No, not at all. This car is an absolute pile of trash for me. I don't feel I'm that great in it, especially at tracks like mile and a half. It's just a lot of drafting, a lot of dirty air, and a lot of stuff like that. So I just feel like that's just kind of not enjoyable for me. But hopefully we can go away with a good finish and keep ourselves up there in competition and see what can happen. But Definitely not easy by any means, and can't slack 1 week at all. Otherwise, you have problems.
Well, who knows? It's your first win since Kentucky of Season 3, and with there still being a good number of races left in this season, maybe we'll see that number 7 back into victory lane once again. Congratulations on your first win of the season, and we'll be seeing you when we go racing next time around.
I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys again real soon.
Benjamin Lacey comes home number 1 this afternoon, and coming on up, it'll be the hard charger. Nick Nickerson comes home number 2. He is standing by with 1 Austin Edstrom.
And Nick, our biggest mover here tonight, starting in the 30th place spot, had an EOL, had a pass-through penalty right at the start of this race, and drove it all the way up to the 2nd place spot. Nick, did you just run out of time at the end of this one?
I mean, maybe Phoenix is probably my better track, but I definitely driving with a little bit of steam under me today, and yeah, if I had maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say because Dalton and Jaden were pretty fast. I think I just got lucky with that last restart, and I had the outside. The outside was just so dominant on those last few laps there, so I was able to kind of sling around them. I think it was more like, I mean, I was definitely a top 5 car for sure. That would have been easy to lock in, but yeah, man, all things considered, starting 2 laps down, I'd say 2nd place is pretty good.
Nick, our race winner Benjamin Lacey was just in here talking about how hard it was to pass, and up towards the front of the field, it definitely seemed like it was very difficult. But obviously, you went, like you said, 2 laps down, able to come all the way through the field to 2nd. How were you able to get those moves done out here tonight whenever so many other guys were struggling?
Burned my tires up. I had to take the outside line and then I cut down, and I was able to make passes left and right. But by the time I got to anybody with any top tier speed, I had nothing for them. So that's why I kind of stalled out around 6th or 5th place, maybe. Yeah, trying to do that kind of those maneuvers around those top 5 guys probably would have been impossible. But I never got the opportunity, so who knows.
Well, Nick, congratulations on the 2nd place finish, especially after starting with such a big handicap at the beginning of this race. Big testament to how fast you were over the course of the race. One more race left in the regular season. What are your expectations going into that? Do you think that's a track that you can bring home a dub?
What track is it? I can't remember. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. Whatever track it is, I'll give it my best shot. I'm only here to try to win races. Iowa, actually.
Oh no, sorry, Charlotte. It's Charlotte. I'm giving you bad information.
Ooh, yeah, I think that's probably going to be another, pack racing style track there. So, it's up to the good Lord how we're going to finish.
Hey, that sounds like there's a chance to me.
Yeah.
All righty, Nick. Well, we appreciate you coming up here and giving us a chat. Congratulations again on P2. Looking forward to seeing if you can do one better next week.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you, Nick. That's our 2nd place finisher of Nick Nickerson, the driver of the number 2 Ford Mustang. Next up, we're going to pull up the 3rd place finisher, Jaden Hopp. He's going to be talking to Nolan Rimple.
Jaden, so close this afternoon to win number 5 on the season. You made a bit of contact with Lacey on the 2-lap dash, but overall, a solid 3rd place to close out the night. Not bad after such a good run for you with 2 tires on the final stop.
Yeah, it was definitely really close. It was so hard to pass on the bottom, I probably would have had to rec bend for it, and no, I'd prefer to not do that. But yeah, he barely beat me on that final caution pit stop, and that was really all he needed to go on to win the thing.
Kind of talk us through the strategy game tonight, because I think when most people saw 37 cars, they were expected this to be a relatively stop-start race. Phoenix races are notorious on iRacing for that, so I think over half this race going green at once in the middle portion was not something on most people's bingo cards tonight.
I think, if I remember correctly, we did it about the same last season in the Xfinity car. Maybe, we had less cautions towards the end, obviously, but I kind of expected the same thing. Didn't expect to have the green flag pit stop into it, but yeah, I tried to overshoot that to have a little bit of a tire advantage, but it didn't matter anyway.
Well, next week, it's the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Obviously, you've been locked in for a while now. Kind of talk us through what the game plan is going to be for the final race of the regular series season. It's only 1 to go, but I mean, hey, another win could still be on the boards for bragging rights.
Yeah, I'd say that's all I can really do. I think I'm pretty much locked into either second or third. Try to get second, but I'm definitely not catching Dalton for the first place spot unless like UX or something like that. But yeah, go out and try to win one more race. I think I get bonus playoff points or whatever for each win I get, so hopefully get a little more of those.
All right, well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing coming on up next week for the final race of the regular series season. Congratulations on taking home number 3 today, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Jada Hopp comes on third this afternoon, and well, awesome. That's going to do it for our post-race interviews, but the standings exiting tonight tell a story. Benjamin Lacey has put himself into the 10th place spot on points, but he is also locked in. I believe that would then make Wyatt Walker the next closest driver at the moment who would be in contention for a playoff run, and his main competition would be Scott Shire. And they are separated, 372 back to 392. 20 points. It's looking to be in Walker's favor here.
Yeah, I mean, 20 points, that's tough to make up. But, Shire wrecked out at the beginning of this race, and Walker was able to make up those points, right? So it just takes one race of that flopping the other way, Wyatt Walker having an early exit, and Shire having a halfway decent top 10 finish, and all of a sudden that flips the other way. So I wouldn't count Shire out of it. And also, remember, it is just winning you're in. So anybody from under that 10th place line could very well just win their way in. As long as they've made 70% of the races.
Well, and I mean, heck, Benjamin Lacey was 31 points out of the cut line today, and look at how quickly that changed with the win, right? I mean, a lot can happen in a very short period of time, and with a 200-mile run coming on up next week, it's going to be a spicy final race of the regular series season, I'm willing to bet.
I think I'd have to agree with you. It's everything comes down to next week, whether your season's practically over or whether you can go on marching into the playoffs with a chance to win a championship here at the end of the high tide Guardian Premier Series. It all comes to a head at Charlotte Motor Speedway in 1 week's time, and it's going to be a great race. We've seen it, pack racing at the 1.5 miles in the ARCA car. We're going to get one more just like it here to end the regular season.
Well, before we get to all of that, still more yet to come here on Green Flag TV. When we go racing tomorrow night, it'll be for more action for the OMSRO Gold Series presented by Sim Racer Hub, as they will seek to duke it out on the closing stages of the Iowa Speedway. The PSR Sim Gaming Expo Truck Series out of the Lucas Oil IRP racetrack over Wednesday night, alongside the WeatherTech Raceways hosting of the Veer League. Thursday, we'll see more action for the Average Joe Sim Racing League and the Highline Diecast Collectible Speed Cup Series, with the Boat Racing League Lightning Series, NAS Classic, alongside more returning over the course of the weekend. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. One race to go, and we'll lock out 12 drivers who will look to fight it out for a championship. We'll see who's in and who is out next week when we swing to America's home for motorsports.